Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Flying Fullbacks podcast. And today we'll be talking about the Champions League second leg between Manchester City and PSG. So, as you all might have seen, Manchester City won the match 2-1 and progressed 4-1 on aggregate. It was a very interesting match. It has actually been one of the most interesting Champions League matches I've seen in recent times. Sitwa, first impressions.
Yeah, Guardiola has done it. The 10-year curse sort of has broken, and he's finally back in the final, and for the first time without Messi. So that all this narrative of him he can't do without Messi is finally broken. So yeah, that's a big takeaway. And Poch has bottled it again. And if he, what do you say? What is the leak? Which quite obviously he can at this point because 3 games are left. He is still 1 point behind. Then it will be amazing that even with PSG he goes trophyless. Not this is Coupe de France, but I'm talking about the main thing. So he has bottled it. So yeah, and one other thing was at the full time whistle, like not full time, just like 1 minute before full time, you can see Mepabe already leaving, and then
Yeah,
camera
yeah.
panned to him, and then we saw him that he saw the camera, he's towards him, so he sat down, and then whistle blew, then he again went up and went. So I was talking to a friend that time, and we were discussing that he is straight away going to Perez at this point. It's like, where is your real contract? Because he is done with this shit. You can see with at this face, his half of the face was covered. You can look into his eyes at that moment. That in his mind he's going, fuck this shit, I'm going. I'm coming. He's signing the contract in his mind only. So yeah, that's a great takeaway. But Man City played brilliantly, and yeah, that's the biggest takeaway. And whoever comes in front of him, Chelsea or Madrid, should be really scared that the way Man City played, and they should really, pray for the fact that Man City might have peaked before the final because there's no way they can play better than that. So just hope that they might have peaked, and whoever comes in front of him might be spared a bit.
So I remember when Manchester City lost, I think 5-3, or was it? They lost by 5 goals to Leicester. And who would have thought that at the
Part
end of the
two, part
season,
two.
5-2, yeah, there you go. Who would have thought that by the end of the season, they would have walked the Premier League and would be in a Champions League final, not just in the final, but more likely to win it? I think they can definitely be considered favorites now. And
Yeah,
it's a brilliant turnaround, and I want to talk about one player in specific, and that player is Ruben Diaz. So for quite a few years, I guess now, we've been talking about the second Manchester City centre back. Ever since the Laporte signed, we know that there has been this thing that okay, Company was there, but ever since Company left, we know that they had a problem at centre back.
even when Company was there in his final season or two, he was not reliable at the back
Yeah, I
because
agree.
he was so injury prone.
So that's why I said that
So since
since Laporte came, and then more
basically,
specifically since Company left. Yeah.
basically since Guardiola came in, he hasn't been able to settle down on a centre back partnership. There was a moment when Otamendi was working for them
Yeah.
for half a season or something. But apart from that, he is now never been able to nail down a proper centre back partnership at the back. So I think Ruben Diaz just might be the final puzzle for his quest for the Champions League. It certainly looked like so, and he has produced a kind of impact, the same which was produced by Van Dijk in Liverpool, and the same which was expected of Maguire in Man U. And
No,
if the footballing world was not all about what do we say, playmakers and strikers, this guy right now would have been easy choice for Bayern Munich.
I actually agree with that. Yeah. As unpopular an opinion as that is, I agree with it. I mean,
I
you
don't
just
think
see
it's an
him
unpopular
play.
opinion.
He
Many
is.
people are voicing the same opinion.
Oh, okay. I haven't read that, but yeah. I mean, if
Yeah.
you just see him play, he's elegant on the ball. He's very strong off it. He's actually pretty fast as well. So overall, he seems like probably the best defender in the league, especially since Van Dijk has been injured for a long time now. And yeah, he has probably been Manchester City's best signing of the past few seasons.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the match itself. So before the first goal came, Marquinhos hit the crossbar with a nice header. It was a good header, And I think that goal could have really changed the momentum of the game, because up until then the match was, kind of in the balance. You had both teams attacking a bit. I think I read this a stat that all of PSG's shots came in the first half an hour or so. And after that, they weren't even able to get a shot. So, I mean, that one moment could have really changed the match. Do you think that at any point PSG looked like they could actually make a comeback and win the game?
See, we know for a fact that they had 14 shots in the entire match, and all of them came before 20th minute. They have not able to have even a single shot after 20th minute, and they didn't have a shot on target at all in the entire match. So you really have to look the fact that in the first half hour, they were actually pressing Man City for a goal, and they were came close with that crossbar thing, and they also got a penalty, which was obviously overturned by VAR. But they
Yeah.
were pushing. Then at around 11 or 13 minutes, I guess so, Mares scored that completely out of the blue, which was like counter-attack goal because PSG were in search of goal. They were playing some ridiculously high line, and Marquinhos was also bombing forward, so it was very unstable high line around the halfway line. So they were, and you, as we all know, that you can't give space to Man City on a counter attack. They will kill you. There's no doubt about it. They don't have a striker, but they will kill you, and they did. They were able to pin them down, and they scored the goal. So, and after that also, it wasn't like that goal changed the entire match or like something.
Yeah. I think I'm losing you. Just 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. But yeah, we were talking about the first goal. And so before we talk about the goal itself, what a pass from Edison. Man, I mean, you talked about how PSG were playing a very high line, and you saw Zinchenko kind of exploiting that. He made a run from behind the halfway line, and Edison just picked him out so beautifully. Is there a better keeper in the world with his feet than Edison right now?
With his feet, no. With his hands, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a debate, but I heard the commentator saying that Edison has kind of revolutionized the position. You saw Neuer taking the keeping position to the next level with his sweeper keeper tactics. Now, do you think Edison has revolutionized it further, or do you think that's going a bit too far?
I think it's going a bit too far because the sweeper keeper position, in my opinion, is still the symbol of that is still Neuer only. You might argue that Ederson might be better than Neuer on his feet, but you can't say for the fact that he revolutionized anything. It was a pre-revolutionized concept by Neuer, which you can say that he has taken it a bit forward, but he has not revolutionized it. So that's I think a bit exaggeration in the heat of the moment kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, I do. We do see a few keepers. I think Ter Stegen, even Courtois got an assist this season or last season. But overall, I
Maybe
think
see
starting attacks from the goalkeeper, that's something you don't see from many other clubs. Manchester City genuinely start their attacks from the goalkeeper very often. Whenever you see, even during opposition corners or whatever, as soon as Edison catches the ball, and I remember there's this was meme where Edison, as soon as he catches the ball, both of the wingers just sprint into the opposition half. So you see this a lot from City and especially from Edison.
just to credit you there, first of all, the assist Courtois got was not from some playmaking thing. It was that Real were 1-0 down in some 90 minutes. So keeper came in front for a
Oh,
corner.
okay, okay.
So he hit it with the ball. That ball landed up on Benzema's head or feet, one of the two things, and then he scored. So that assist was not a playmaking kind of thing.
All right.
Second point, Courtois is not good with the feet. He is
Yeah,
average at
I was
best.
not arguing that. I'm just saying that
Yeah,
for
I'm clearing things up. Like,
all
people
right.
might not comment that you don't know anything. Courtois is average at best with his feet, and he
Yeah.
has improved in last season. But before that, he was shit at best. So talking about Ederson, yeah, his ball dish, and that's the tactic I think that's bigger playing here, apart from skill set, because Guardiola brought in Bravo before Ederson, and in my opinion, Bravo was not a shit keeper. He was a great keeper. He was a first choice for Barca. and he was able to bench Ter Stegen, and that means something.
Yeah.
But just because he was such more traditional keeper, in the sense of the fact that he was not able to play this distribution thing, and he was trying this ball controlling thing with his feet, and then he's fluffed his lines a bit a couple of times, and then he totally forgot to how to keep the ball out of net completely. So that led to his downfall. But this tactics of Guardiola, the keeper, is not something you pass to him as a last resort.
Yeah.
Like when sometimes it happens that you're getting so much pressure at the defenders that defenders pass to keeper as a completely last resort to play root one football. Ederson is a proper midfielder, build-up player in Man City's tactics, and the way Guardiola has truly revolutionized the team that they don't need a striker completely to score goals. They even see Spain also used to do that, and they did that in the Euros 2012 when they didn't have a single striker in the lineup in the final. But to do that consistently day in day out and score some 4 or 5 goals, it's tremendous in my opinion. It's like that's a true revolution that this city has brought in. So the way things are going in 2 3 years time, maybe they don't have a keeper at all. They will play some keeper will the Ramos keeper will do some what do you say striking runs and up forward. Maybe they will bribe someone to. We are not saying they bribe, but just a hypothetical point that they will get the rules to change that whoever plays shots last man keeper is a keeper, so the rotating keepers and starting some
I remember we
random
used
shit is
to
happening.
play that when we were younger. Whoever was the last
Yeah,
man can
yeah,
use his hands. Yeah,
So they so we will see the Raheem Sterling being a keeper at some point in the match.
yeah. We know
Complete
Kyle Walker
random
can
shit.
actually do it, can't he?
Kyle Walker can actually do it. That's the point. So
Yeah.
yeah, some random shit is happening in the match. So you never know, but they have been pretty well-oiled machinery. And one takeaway from them is that in recent years, since Real stopped winning the Champions League, this trend has emerged that many big teams are reliant on one sole player. You take the case of what do you say, Real, just heavily reliant on Ramos and Benzema. You remove one of them, they're completely out of ideas. You
Yeah.
remove Messi out of Barca, they will crumble like anything. You remove Harry Kane from Tottenham, they will crumble. You remove Ronaldo out of Juventus, they will crumble. Okay, Bayern to not that extent, but see, you saw that you removed Lewandowski and all this invincible aura just went away, and they lost badly, in my opinion. And same for PSG also. You remove Mbappe and see what happened. Or you remove Neymar and Mbappe both, and they completely look like a mid-table team in
Yeah.
big matches.
Without the two of them, I think they're pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
But
So this Man City team doesn't have that thing that they are reliant on one or two players. Even if 5 players are going to come, no 5 players will come in, they will play exactly the same. You can argue the fact that okay, you can't really change the quality of Kevin De Bruyne, or you can't really compensate for the quality of Ruben Diaz, but still, it is a well-oiled machinery. It's not like some one or two players you remove them and they will all of a sudden play with half the talent.
yeah, I think we
And
talked
that's a
about this
great.
before as well. That City have fantastic strength and depth. So if you see right
No,
now,
that's not no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that
I
it's a
know. I
return to
just
the
uh, I'm talking about, yeah,
it's
I
a
agree with
return.
you. I agree with you. They're not over reliant on a single player, but I'm actually making a further point that they have such incredible strength and depth that even if you take out Ruben Diaz, you still have Laporte and Stones. That's a pretty good partnership, if you ask me. If you take out Edison,
Yeah.
you still have Zach Steffen, who's all right. He's pretty good. So they have good strength and depth, and they're not reliant on a single player, which makes them really, really deadly.
And also, it's a return to the old times, like not exactly old times, when you used to have these cohesive units, the juggernauts who used to win these trophies. Not like some one player is scoring 10 goals in 5 matches and taking them to the final. Even when we used to have these big teams who are reliant on a single player, the other players were still very good. And
Yeah.
then you used to have a single mega star, like in the three-peat of Real Madrid. In that time, you had this Modric, Cruz, Ramos, and Benzema, Bale, all these players who were very good. And even if without Ronaldo, they still could have beat Bayern and all. Having Ronaldo was an extra effect to that. We saw that in 2016 also, when Ronaldo missed the semifinals, and still Real was able to beat Man City without Ronaldo also. So that's the thing. And even when 2011-9 thing, when the Messi thing was at his prime, Barca was totally prime in history football. If you remove Messi also, this team was still pretty much able to win the Champions League. At least till the finals they can reach. So that's what I'm saying. This recent trend of, if you remove this one player, the team completely is in shambles. That's a worrisome trend in my opinion. That City is reversing. There's now it's more emphasis on the team building. Every player in the team should be good.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not about
I
one
agree.
player is carrying the entire team, because that doesn't work. And that is where teams like Juventus and Barca are flopping so hard right now,
No, that's true.
because that
Now,
doesn't work.
speaking of Manchester City and strikers, Sergio Aguero, I think a few years ago, he said, I will stay at Man City until we win the
In
Champions League.
2014.
Yeah, in 2014. And everybody laughed at him. And when he announced that he'll be leaving at the end of the season, I remember a lot of people saying, oh, he's breaking his promise, he's going away. But you know what? He might actually not be. He could actually win the Champions League. And it's not
Yeah,
just possible, it's actually probable now. Do you think that there is a space for him to start in the Champions League final? Or do you think that the current system is working too well for Pep to risk that?
I think it's working too well right now to just, and because the thing is, if he plays Aguero and then they lose, then all this hard work and this, of him staying within his limits, because this is the first time in many years that Pep has taken the same tactics he plays in Premier League and put it in the Champions League. He, for the first time in many years, he is not overthinking. So to put Aguero in the final match for tactical reason or just for emotional reason is completely bullshit right now. You play the final, score some 2-3 goals in first half, you bring him for the final 20 minutes. That is enough. If you even want for emotional final, and at least because we have 5 subs right now in UCL. So you can anyway bring him for at least 5 minutes at the end, no matter what. Because even if you're losing, then you will bring him for that upfront. And if you are winning, then you bring him an emotional value. Like the way thing happened last night, because he was brought in some 4 or 5 minutes at max. And then also the fourth official got his number wrong. The fourth official was displaying the 9th number, and his number, as you all know, is 10. So that's the thing. That's a complete different thing, but still. And so yeah, I don't think it's any way makes sense to bring him in, and even trying to bring Sterling in for, because he's the big player or something. This system of, Fernandinho, Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden is working like a well-oiled machine, and they should be preserved in the rest of the Premier League matches, because the title is done. There's no way they're bottling 3 points in 4 matches, even if they play the second team, which is anyway capable enough. So I think they should just rest him and do the drills and all, and just, keep it as easy as possible, because as of now, whether they face Chelsea or whether they face Real, they are at minimum 60-40 advantage. That also if they face Chelsea. If they place Real, they're at 70-30 advantage. Because that's what Chelsea is, because Tuchel has recently beaten him. Also the fact that Chelsea play Premier League day in day out, so they might have a better advantage. Also, Chelsea players can run. Real players can't. Oh, that they don't have legs anymore. 35 के कितना भागेगा मॉडरिच? नहीं टांग उसके बेचारे मर गया उसका जो भी है. So and they will be coming out with this gruesome La Liga run also. So if they face Real, and even Real doesn't have attack counter City defense, and the defense is also shaky. Varane is now injured for God knows what reason, and you never know with Ramos and some other player getting. Carval is not out for the season, so you never know. It is a paper thin squad with a graphene thin injury record. So any player can be 5 players can be done in a single match day. So I think it's City. If City bottles this one, then it's going to be gruesome on Twitter, man.
Coming back to the
People are
match.
going to butcher them.
coming back to the match, the second goal was again pretty routine. It was a pretty simple tap in. Mahrez got it as well. And actually, that's not the most interesting part. What happened after that, ever since Di Maria's red card, first of all, it was a pretty obvious red card. I mean, it was a malicious tackle. It was not even a tackle as such. It was outside of the pitch. But after that, we saw something which was more like a WWE match rather than a football match, right?
Okay, it's more of a typical PSG thing that they will, that happened last season also, that when they are losing, they get frustrated and all, which is quite obvious, they get frustrated, but then they go on this killing spree. And same thing happens with Barca also. When they start losing, they go on this killing spree. Even Real does it. Casemiro, as you seen, against Chelsea was doing it. He went even against Liverpool also, so in the peak quarterfinals. So yeah, it's nothing new, but the extent to which they were shamelessly doing it was quite surprising. Because other times, some players are still trying to be respectful. This time, Verratti, Di Maria were going full into it, and there was no shame, respect left. Even Neymar was doing some bullshit, so I don't give much attention to it. It was just last 10 minutes, and even City were toying with them for no reason, in my opinion. They for just for the sake of it, because they can,
Not no
because they were
reason. I
three
mean, it
good.
was time wasting then. I mean,
No, but you can waste time with normal ways also. You don't have to go in front of a defender and just Rabona flicks and all and just to waste time. That is just to toy with them because they can. They had 3 goal lead and no way PSG was and PSG were down to 10 men, so they were not going to score anyway. So that's it. But biggest takeaway tactically, measure, I still don't get how Man City were playing such a narrow team. Oscar. I mean, the way they were playing was like one row of 4 players, which was covering just a box only. Not even, and PSG didn't even try to attack the wings. Biggest surprise that okay, Man City is doing the tactics of almost whenever they lose the ball, some two layers of four players, effectively 8 players coming into lines in front of the box, and in a very compact manner. Their tactic is that. But I don't get why PSG is not countering on the wings. Clearly, you're not going anywhere centrally. Go on the wings, crossing the ball, something will go in. And it's not like it's on 10 minutes left to you given up hope. This was happening since the halftime. If you see there clearly 8 players in front of you in less than 5 meter distance, then what's the point of going centrally and trying to do skills and everything? And Neymar was trying to do every ridiculous skill in the book to go past her. It's not effective. Just go through the wings and try to cross in the ball. You have players like Kimpembe and Marquinhos who can seriously head the ball.
Icardi is
Even
pretty good in
Neymar
the air
can.
as well. Yeah.
Huh?
Icardi.
Yeah, no, Icardi was subbed off around 60, 70 mark.
No, but as you said, it was happening since half time. So at least during the
But
start of the half.
at least we can give you the fact that okay, for 15 minutes they're not able to realize what was happening. So still, when 16-minute mark, you realize that okay, this is a tactic. So change the plan now. Go on the wings, cross on some balls, something will happen, and then they concede a second, and then the game was completely called off, in my opinion. And biggest thing, other than the fact that this was doing, what was the condition of the pitch in the first half?
Oh, dude, it was really bad. I mean, at one point I could hardly even see the ball during the start of the game. It was a terrible
I mean,
condition.
like when such cash cows are playing, they can't even hire one tractor, the snowblower thing, to plow the field.
Clear up the
I mean,
pitch, yeah.
only the lines were cleared, only the lines and the D, nothing else. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, second half everything was cleared. I mean, if it only took 15 minutes, then you should have cleared the field and started the match. Why were we waiting in the last minute to kick off to start something, and then in 15 minutes all of us were disappeared when you had already taken the piss out of the PSG match? So I think it was a intentional thing that some in FA Cups when some League Two team faces the Premier League team, they
Yeah.
intentionally
Make
make
the
their
pitch
pitch shitty.
terrible. Yeah. I know that.
So
Yeah.
they will struggle, and they have. So I think the same tactic. Some Guardiola has done the most stroke city thing ever.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that Guardiola is going to be inspired from Stoke City and whoever the manager was at that time? I don't remember. So that's the thing. But yeah, what's I mean,
Overall it was a pretty disappointing one for PSG and PSG fans around the world. But now let's move on to the second match that is going to happen tonight. It's going to be between Real Madrid and Chelsea. As we know, Chelsea have an away goal, but Madrid have an advantage too. Ramos is back.
yeah, and Ramos will start. It's a heads up to people. He will start tonight. There's no way because Varane is gone and Nacho is not looking great recently. He's been quite shaky. And whatever Nacho was playing secondary, Ramos is playing because it's Ramos. You need a guy to break Kai Havertz's leg and get away with it because any other guy will try it. He will get a card, but Ramos will get away with it in his power. So that's the thing. That Ramos is back. He will definitely start. Even Eden Hazard will start, in my opinion, the way he performed. And it might be his new progression in career that he will play as a center attacking midfielder role, in my opinion, because he clearly doesn't have any pace anymore to go from outside the winning cut inside to go for the goal. He doesn't have that pace. He only has this first touch, the skills in the passing and all. So I think he's going to play the CAM role, and we might see this 4-4-2 kind of situation with Vinicius and Benzema up front and the what do you say, Hazard in a diamond tip kind of thing, and the regular midfield in the regular three position, and you might see return of Mendy also. Mendy, because clearly there was no physical aspect in the defense last time, so Mendy is required, and you still might see Nacho, but in the right back role, or he might start Odriozola of all people. So that's going to be a big thing. But it's going to be a different game because the mistakes tactically that were committed by Madrid is not going to be repeated. There's no way Madrid is going to repeat the same tactics. Madrid might lose this match. That can purely happen because Chelsea were playing way superior last time and they might not be able to cover the gap. But what difficult thing Chelsea is that they didn't kill the machine last time. It's like, I'm going to use a Terminator reference. It's like a T100 is behind your truck. When you get the chance, you kill it completely. Because if you don't kill it, it will come and get you, and it will kill you. So in my opinion, when they had the chance in the first 30 minutes in that match, they should have killed them. Because we have seen, I don't even remember the times. We have seen so many times, especially with a player like Ramos, that he comes back to haunt you. He definitely comes back to haunt you. So I think it's going to be a big ask, and see what happens in Stamford Bridge. But it's uphill task for Chelsea right now. Even though they have the advantage, even if they keep a nil-nil draw, they will go. But I just think mentally, and with the inclusion of, what do we say, Ramos and maybe Mendy, physically also, because those two players are physical beasts in my opinion. Mendy not much so, but Ramos is going to play full drumsticks with Kai Havertz and Timo Werner legs. He will butcher them all, in my opinion. And then he will take a yellow card peacefully for that. And then the game is over for Chelsea. Some what do you say? Real will get some stamp goal out of nowhere, some Benzema moment of brilliance, or some random ball will go deflect in, and then they will win it. Because the other thing is, last time what happened was Toni Kroos and Modric were very slow, as you remember. They had no answer to the pace or creativity of Kante last time. This time, because they were coming in from, what do you say, heavy run fixtures, and they were not being rested. This time, they're coming with proper rest. He was not played last game week. So they both are coming from a 1 week off. So in my opinion, that is going to be sufficient for players of that caliber to be regionalized. The other thing is, coming to Chelsea side, players like Kante and Mason Mount especially, are going to be of tremendous value for Chelsea, in my opinion, in this match. Mason Mount can be the make and break guy, because as we were discussing yesterday, his his underlying stats of defensive recoveries and his attacking runs and his crosses is just incredible that nobody's talking about. So if he plays to his potential, like he plays, and with the Pulisic coming in and just Kante making those line breaking runs, then quality wise Real doesn't have a answer right now. Clearly, they have a better team, Chelsea, right now, with the young age and the whole this such a squad depth. Madrid just have an advantage, experience wise and mentality wise. Because if you're talking about tactics, also Tuchel is a better tactician than Zidane, no doubts about it. So, in my opinion, with a very hard, very deep sorrows right now, I think Chelsea's going to nick it.
Okay, so whatever happens is going to be a fascinating match. And before we wrap up, just want a quick score prediction.
As I said, I think Chelsea's going through.
With what score?
I think 2-1 in favor of Chelsea.
Well, I guess it's the first time we agree, because I was also thinking of 2-1 in favor of Chelsea. I know it's
I hope I'm wrong.
impossible
I
to bet
definitely.
against. It's unwise to bet against Madrid in a Champions League match, but right now
And we're committing a mistake. I really hope I'm wrong. Maybe they'll do match 2-2, and that way Real will go through on away goals. But it's just the fact that I don't see Madrid scoring 2 goals. Like, who will score 2 goals? Benzema is a player who doesn't score more than 1 goal in a match, and there's no second goal scorer in Madrid team. Maybe
dude, you have
Ramos had a
Casemiro.
94-minute.
Yeah, Ramos possible too.
Casemiro, some 94 header comes in, but it's just too difficult. Logically, it's too difficult to bet against Chelsea right now. The way they're playing, so compact in the defense, so great going forward. Apart from Timo Werner, apart from him, they're so great. The moment Timo Werner comes in the picture, is such a relaxing mode for Real Madrid. Like, okay, let him do whatever he wants. He will not score anyway. But it's going to be emotional return for Hazard at Stamford Bridge after such a failure and absolutely flop career at Madrid. That it might be a tipping point for him to do maybe the familiar surrounding of Stamford Bridge at low temperatures.
I agree with you. It could actually be the turning point in his career at Madrid. He's not that old yet. I mean, yeah, I think he is 30 or 31 now. 30, yeah. So that's not old at all. He still has at least a few 3-4 good years in him before
I'm just
his
hoping
quality starts to wither. So I actually do think that this could be the turning point for his Madrid career, and maybe now he'll really earn the number 7 shirt. Who knows?
Yeah, I just don't give whether he earns or not. I just saying. I think that the coldness of London and the fact that familiar surroundings might just give him this old nostalgic vibes and he can do something. Otherwise, I don't see a really a way that Madrid comes on top. If they win it, kudos to Zidane, dude. If he takes Vinicius Jr. to Champions League final, I don't know what he needs to be considered the GOAT, but he is the GOAT in my opinion. Because a forward line consisting of Vinicius Jr. and taking in the Champions League final, I have lost two words. How unthinkable is that, considering they were almost in Europa starting of this December end, and from there to this. Also, I hope Real wins the Champions League and Arsenal wins the what do you say?
Europa League. Yeah, we have a Super Cup tie, Real versus Arsenal.
Because that's the only way the two teams are facing anytime in near future. Because
I mean, yeah, unfortunately that's true.
Because in 3-4 years, I don't think Real drop into Europa League, and there's no way apart from winning the Europa League that Arsenal is coming to Champions League. So that's the thing. And if they come, they will not be drawn into the same group and all. And you guys won't make it after round of 16. So I think if it might be the only chance, realistic chance we have of facing Real and Arsenal.
Well, I mean, right now Arsenal going through to the Europa League final is pretty unrealistic in my opinion, but that's a topic for a different time. Anyway, whatever happens in tonight's match, it's going to be a fascinating one. And I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the Flying Fullbacks podcast. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and share. And for more such content, subscribe to our YouTube channel.